Looking at these quarters in your pocket change? You might want to take a closer look. The coins I'm sharing with you today aren't just rare, they're potentially worth thousands of dollars, yet they're still in circulation. I'm talking about two Washington quarters that many people unknowingly pass around every day, the 1978 and 1991 quarters, both hiding in plain sight and potentially worth a small fortune depending on their condition and specific characteristics. Let's start with the 1978 Washington quarter. What makes this seemingly ordinary coin special dates back to a fascinating minting error that occurred at the San Francisco Mint. During production, some quarters were struck on experimental copper-nickel planchets instead of the standard copper-nickel clad composition. This mistake created what collectors now call the 1978 S-proof quarter on copper-nickel planchet. The history behind this error reveals much about the U.S. Mint's operations during the late 1970s. The San Francisco facility was primarily focused on producing proof coins for collectors, using carefully prepared dies and specially polished planchets to create mirror-like finishes. However, in the rush of production, a small batch of business-strike planchets accidentally made their way into the proof production line. The result was a hybrid coin with proof dies struck on regular circulation material. To identify these valuable quarters, you'll need to look for several distinctive features. Authentic examples will display the S mint mark below Washington's bust, indicating San Francisco production. The coin will have the sharp strike and detail of a proof coin, but lack the reflective, mirror-like surface typical of proofs. Under magnification, the field will appear more satin-like than mirrored. The edge should show the typical copper-nickel sandwich layer rather than the solid copper core of regular proofs. The market value of these error coins has climbed steadily since their discovery. In mint state condition, a certified 1978 S quarter on wrong planchet can command between $3,000 and $5,000 at auction. In 2019, a particularly pristine example graded MS-67 by PCGS sold for an astounding $7,200 at a heritage auction. Even examples in lower grades can sell for $1,000 or more, making this an exceptionally valuable modern error. What I find particularly fascinating is how these coins escaped the Mint's quality control. The San Francisco facility had some of the strictest quality measures in place, yet these errors still managed to make it into circulation. According to Mint records, fewer than 100 examples are believed to exist, though the exact number remains unknown. Some numismatists believe many more are still circulating unrecognized. The condition of these quarters dramatically affects their value. A circulated example showing moderate wear might bring $800 to $1,200, while one in proof-like condition with minimal handling can easily command 4 times that amount. The coins showing the most distinct contrast between the regular planchet material and the proof strike technique are the most sought after by serious error collectors. These quarters represent a perfect storm of numismatic interest. They're modern enough that some still circulate, yet rare enough that finding one is like winning a lottery. And unlike some valuable coins that require specialized knowledge to identify, these can be spotted with a good eye and basic understanding of what makes them special. Now let's shift our attention to another extraordinary find, the 1991 Washington quarter with doubled die obverse. Unlike our previous coin, this isn't an accidental wrong planchet error, but rather a double die variety that occurred during the hubbing process at the Philadelphia Mint. This doubling created one of the most significant modern quarter errors, yet one that's still possible to find in circulation today. The story behind the 1991 double die quarter begins with the die manufacturing process. When creating the working dies used to strike coins, the Mint uses a hub to impress the design into multiple dies. If the die shifts between impressions, it creates a doubled image. In the case of the 1991 quarter, this doubling is most prominently visible in the letters of Liberty and the date, creating a distinctive shadow effect that expert collectors immediately recognize. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 400 million quarters in 1991, but only a small fraction, experts estimate fewer than 10,000, show this dramatic doubling effect. Despite this relative rarity, what makes this coin particularly exciting is that many examples remain undiscovered in circulation. Unlike the 1978 S error, which was primarily a proof coin mishap, these 1991 double die quarters entered regular circulation through normal banking channels. When examining your 1991 quarters, look specifically at Washington's profile and the word Liberty. With the double die variety, you'll notice distinct separation in the lettering, particularly in the LI and TY. The date also shows significant doubling, especially in the 9S. No special equipment is needed to spot these features, a simple magnifying glass is sufficient to see the doubling on authentic examples. The market for these double die quarters has remained strong since their discovery in the early 1990s. In uncirculated condition, certified examples regularly sell for $800 to $1,200, while the finest known specimens, graded MS 67 or higher, have realized prices exceeding $3,500 at major auctions. Even circulated examples in good condition can command $300 to $600, representing a tremendous return on a 25-cent investment. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1991 double die quarter is how it connects to the broader tradition of double die varieties in American numismatics. While perhaps not as famous as the legendary 1955 double die Lincoln cent, the 1991 quarter represents one of the most significant double die varieties of the modern era. Some collectors have even assembled date runs focusing exclusively on Washington quarter double dies, with the 1991 serving as the centerpiece of such collections. The condition factor is particularly important with double die varieties. Because the doubling can become less distinct as the coin wears, examples in higher mint state grades command significant premiums. A coin graded MS 65 might sell for twice what an MS 63 example would bring, simply because the doubling is more prominently displayed on the crisper strike. What makes both these quarters so appealing to collectors is their accessibility. Unlike ancient coins or gold rarities that few people will ever handle, these valuable modern errors might be sitting in your change jar right now. They represent the fascinating intersection of history, minting technology, and the element of chance that makes coin collecting such an enduring hobby. In the world of numismatics, these two quarters, the 1978 S on wrong planchet and the 1991 double die, remind us that valuable treasures aren't always ancient artifacts or gold rarities. Sometimes they're the overlooked modern coins that pass through our hands every day. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who's just discovered the hobby, these quarters offer the thrill of the hunt and the possibility of a remarkable find hiding in plain sight. So before you spend that next quarter, take a moment to look, really look, at what might be in your hand. It could be worth far more than 25 cents.